And good evening, everyone. It is so good to be with you here tonight, gathered as a community that continues to rise despite the many challenges that we have faced and continue to face. I am so grateful for this space where we can be grounded together, support each other, and move forward with intention. That's why I am so honored to introduce tonight's speaker, someone who understands the importance of healing and wholeness, Jessica Bruny. Jessica is the CEO and founder of Just Be You, a wellness company she launched during the pandemic, which was featured in the LA Times for her transformative work. She has a BA in psychology from Cal State San Bernardino, and she is a certified sound healer. Jessica brings together the mind, body, and spirit to offer a holistic experience rooted in care and community. She's here with us tonight to share tools for mindful living and to offer grounding practices that we can carry into our homes, our work, and our daily lives. Please join me in welcoming Jessica Bruny.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be here with each of you. Before we begin, I just, ask if everyone is in a safe space where we're about to show you a quick minute meditation and a storytelling of mindfulness practices. So if you just feel comfortable to sit back and get relaxed and just taking some time to do some breath work as we are going to break on this beautiful first meeting of this school year. And so I'll just pass it over for you guys to just come in with an open heart and an open mind into the practice. And just thank you so much for being open to this experience, this event, this YouTube video that I created is called Homecoming. And so you guys will be able to watch a piece that I created, and I'll be talking about mindfully living afterwards. So if you could just give your attention to the screens, please do enjoy.
Greetings, beautiful souls. You are entering an instance of homecoming. My name is Jessica Bruny, a mindfulness activist, creator and host of Are You Being Gentle with Your Mental podcast. I come with blessings and peace, and I am providing this moment for radical forgiveness and attending our own homecoming to work. Homecoming is an instance of coming home. Homecoming is creating your own holistic space and being in that energy. Whatever that may look like for you, create it. Because my compassionate being, you take a lot in, but how are you releasing? How are you cleaning your aura? Are things around you growing? Are you mindfully thriving? If so, I invite you to take this moment to reflect, to gently close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice, and place your hand on your heart. But take these next moments to listen to my voice and trust the process. What is your sacred space lacking? What is your home missing? Through personal experiences, I had to take the chance to invite myself to my own homecoming. I was on autopilot and sometimes in a dream, just traveling beyond the norm. The feeling was love. The movement was fluid. My heart was pure and my mind was open. I allowed myself to feel freedom. What does freedom mean to you? What does freedom feel to you? What do you think when you hear the word freedom? For homecoming, in this very moment, I recall my awakening by practicing self-awareness of my own power, of my own truth, honoring the power within me to honor the power within us. While learning to treat myself the best, I began with mindful moments. And we welcome breath work, I welcome you to inhale and exhale with 3 deep breaths. And in this mindful moment, invite the sound healing to begin. Let the storytelling resonate in your heart and exhale through your mouth. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In and out. Cleanse and release. Go within. I ask you to bring yourself to this present moment, not focusing on yesterday nor tomorrow, but today. Receive this gift of freedom with each inhale through your nose and every exhale through your mouth. Allow yourself to enjoy the flow. And at your own pace, bring an awareness to your breath, to the crown chakra, allowing yourself to visualize the color purple surrounding your aura, to a higher conscious and divine spiritual connection. Be open-minded to your third eye and begin to have the absolute ability to speak freely and be in flow with your words. Ashe. With 4 deep breaths, in and out, cleanse and release. Go within and breathe. As we are about to enter back into our bodies, may you be inspired to check in with your mindset. Welcome yourself home and begin training. Place one hand on your heart with one more breath, and let's begin our relationships with love, compassion, creativity, through understanding the personal responsibility to do what is right, to do what is just. Honor you and your life. May you be well while traveling this journey. And gently say, I am alive. I am coming home, loving purposely, just the best.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for meditating with me. I'm so honored to be able to begin this meeting with Homecoming. I created that back in 2021 as one of the activists that was a part of exhibition at the Crockers Art Museum in Sacramento. And people were able to enjoy mindful moments with me in the museum. And thank you so much for the comments. If you just want to leave how you're feeling in that moment. I am a first generation Haitian American, and I first want to be able to share that with everyone because I do believe that my ancestors have given me the opportunity to tap into my creativity, to remind me of who I am and whose I am as well too. My grandparents were ministers in Altadena growing up and bringing community together. And so that leads me into my next share with you all the 3 P's to mindfully living and to be able to cultivate mindful moments with you each and every day. I want to share that the first one is pray. Pray without ceasing. If you're a believer, you know that this is very important to do, right? Pray until something happens and continue to pray when it already is, when God's blessing you with the opportunity that you have been praying for. Sometimes we have to, open our eyes and be realizing that we are living in answered prayers. We're living in a time that prayer is so important, that when someone's on your mind, when someone's on your heart, if you haven't talked to them, pray for them. Be able to send them a good message. At this time in this world, we truly need to stick together and continue to pray. The second thing that I want to talk about is inner peace. I know maybe we hear a lot online about protecting your peace, but when are we going to begin honoring our peace? When are we going to be honoring that energy that we've cultivated, the things that have taken us so long to be where we are in our world today, the things that we've been able to accolades, accomplishments. We need to protect and honor that inner peace that we have created within ourselves and find things that bring us joy, right? Maybe if you're in a safe neighborhood, going for a walk, going for a nature walk, right? Being able to maybe tune into some mindful music, some meditation, being able to even, for example, right, if you're driving and you're at a red light, instead of like change, 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 go, 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 right? We're such in a hustle culture where we just think our hands are our magic wands. No, maybe we just need to put our hand on our heart and breathe and take that moment to do a red light meditation and just say, okay, I'm calm, I'm here, I'm alive in my car, I'm safe. It's gonna be green and I'll go then, right? So different ways that we can practice, being mindful is when we're driving, when we're eating, right? Maybe we don't have the burger in one hand and the phone in the other, right? Maybe you just gotta have to set that phone down and just say, wait, let me just eat. Okay, let me just taste all the senses and the flavors and chew my food, right? Let's chew and digest my food and not be so quick to be on the hustle and go, go, go all the time, right? It's like so many of us are on autopilot where it's like we gotta take control. We gotta be like, no, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy this moment. Maybe I need to put my phone on do not disturb, right? Maybe I need to go ahead and just pull out the next one. The next P is that pen and paper. Maybe I just need a journal. Maybe I have so many thoughts in my head, so many ideas that I want to create, so many things that are maybe just information overload, right? Coming at us where it's like, where can I get this? Let me get a journal. Let me get a piece of paper. Let me jot down what I'm thinking. Let me create a mind map of like where I'm going and set my goals and things of that nature, right? Maybe on Sunday, especially with the families here, the mothers and the children, maybe we can pull a prompt out. We can look up a prompt real quick and we can all just come together and we can all journal as a family, right? We got to keep it within the family. We got to keep prayer in the family. We got to keep the peace in the family. We got to continue to pull out those moments where we can write together and talk about our feelings, right? I'm a first generation Haitian American. We didn't talk about our feelings. I had to be the change I wanted to see in my family, and then I was able to do it within my community now. And so I'm so thankful and honored that I can be able to come here just briefly to share about some of the work that I've done. And I'm very thankful for, right, my other family members. I'm the youngest of 14 in a blended family. So some of you may know my brother Jessica Bruny, which is a major activist out um, everywhere. I don't know how, it almost seems like he has a clone. But if you've ever seen my brother Jessica Bruny, if you've ever been a part of his work at Heal Dina, that we do in the Missionary Baptist Church in Altadena, just thank you, for being a part of the movement. And I want you guys to continue to. That video you seen, I mentioned it was a YouTube video. So if you ever want to return there, you can. I have a mindfulness meditation, even for younger children, that has like the space in it and that you can just put on in the background. Maybe, when it's time to, we're going to go ahead and just wind down, right? We're going to go ahead and unwind for the day. We're going to turn it down a little bit and just get ready to rest, right? And I'm pretty sure that my information will be shared with the group if you guys ever want to stay connected. Um, I know I do work throughout the state, so sometimes I do open events where you guys could come and you can experience a live sound bath and a meditation if you feel free to do so. But I hope that we can continue doing the work. And I want to remind everyone that with mindfully living, it's not like a light switch, right? It's not that we listen to this meditation today, homecoming, and it's going to stick with us forever. It's those moments every day we wake up and we say, hey, let me take 5 minutes to breathe. Let me take 5 minutes to relax. Let me take 5 minutes to reflect on what I'm going through, right? It's those small moments that create big impacts. And I can tell you this from that I'm a living testimony to that, it didn't happen overnight. That many years of cultivating these practices allow me to see where my spirit and energy is cultivating and honoring the peace that's within me, and honestly thanking God for the moment to be able to share this with each of you today. So I don't know if my time is up because I'll keep on going if you guys want me to, but I will be respectfully and to pass it on to the next speaker. I just want to say thank you to each of you. Your presence here is truly a gift. Thank you for meditating. Thank you for breathing with me. Continue to breathe, continue to be well. And I love you. Thank you.
And now it is my honor to introduce our second presenter, my friend Patrice. We go way back to elementary school. All right, I'm so proud of you, Patrice, your amazing accolades. Patrice was elected to the PUSD school board in 2022. She is a proud product of PUSD, all grades, right? No grade left untouched. And she has more than 15 years of experience working with state and local government leaders, including members of the California State Legislature and the Los Angeles Unified School District Board of Education, graduate of UC Berkeley with a degree in African American Studies and a minor in critical pedagogy. You go, girl. She also holds a master's degree in public administration from the Mart School of Public and International Affairs at Baruch College of New York. She is an amazing person, and we're excited to have you share your story about the way that growing up in Pasadena has impacted your life in this wonderful community and how we can also give back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nia, for that really, really kind introduction. As she said, I am definitely from Pasadena, grew up in Pasadena and Altoona, both of them at some point in my life over the course of my childhood. My parents also grew up here. My paternal grandfather finished high school and went to Pasadena City College here. So this is third generation for me. But I want to tell you about what drives me to serve and how service became sort of part of my DNA. And it really goes back to the example that my grandmother set. Nia knows my grandmother well, and many of you have met her as well because she comes to a lot of community events with me. But she operated a daycare center in our home for well more than 40 years when I was growing up. And what she did is really created a sense of kind of like stability and safety for families, and really instilled in me that even if you don't have much, that there is value and dignity in serving someone else. And she exemplified those things by doing simple things for the families that she took care of their children. And it might be things like allowing somebody to come a few minutes late for pickup or come a little bit early for drop off. Making room at the dinner table if families needed to be able to eat. We had an open door policy, so families knew that they could come by for lunch whenever they wanted to, come by for dinner. There would be room for you at the table. And the other thing that she did is literally opened our door to families when they were in times of crisis. And knowing that she showed up for other people, showed up for our community, and was vocal about issues that she cared about. Those are the examples and the values that were instilled in me growing up. So my grandma Hazel is amazing. She's absolutely my fave, and she is why I do what I do. I want to give her a shout out because on Saturday, she's going to be 93. So if y'all see her, give her some love. She's extra fancy. But she's my why. And as Nia said, I am a PUSD kid, kindergarten through 12th grade. I went to Burbank for kindergarten, first grade, finished elementary school at Allendale for 2nd through 5th. I met Nia at Allendale. Went to Elliott for middle school and am a proud John Muir Mustang. My parents are also PUSD kids. My mom moved here when she was in 4th grade, started at Franklin, did a little stint at McKinley, then finished at Elliott, and then went to Muir. My dad was born here at the Women's Hospital before they allowed Black mothers to give birth at Huntington. And he went to Edison for elementary school, Elliott and John Muir. So I am, Dina through and through, and this is who I am and my roots. You know me as a school board member today, but who I will always be for the rest of my life is always I'll be a community advocate, because I am super passionate about empowering folks with tools and knowledge to create a better quality of life. After going to Cal and getting a degree, I worked in local government, and I did a lot of kind of community engagement and outreach. And I was doing what was really valuable work, but I felt like I needed some additional information, expertise to be able to translate the people power that I was growing into sort of policy change on a more impactful scale. And so I did what, many Black women do, and that is go back to school. So I will tell you that was my path, but I'm going to tell you in a minute that may not necessarily be your path. So I went and got a master's degree in public administration so I could learn more about the foundational concepts that I was doing in practice, but didn't necessarily have words or language for always. And I will also share that my entire school education has been in public school, K through 12, undergraduate and graduate school. The Baruch College is part of the City University of New York system, which would be probably most equivalent to the Cal State LA system here, or the Cal State system here. So what I know from education is public, and that's my lens. So I will give you that disclaimer now, so I don't want to hear any chatter about what may or may not be real for somebody else later. What I do in my day job today is I am chief of staff to a school board member for the Los Angeles Unified School District. So I do school board at work, and I come home in my free time and in my volunteer time, and I serve the school board here in Pasadena, because public education is that important to me. I don't have children of my own, but what I hope is that the students and the families whose lives we impact will remember that one day that I fought for children, I advocated for children, and I was kind to children, and that they will take good care of me when I get old. Just keeping it a buck, y'all. But what my grandmother really modeled for me was sort of like the example of why it's important to advocate for 3 things that I think are valuable in terms of building strong communities. And that is stability, service, and safety. When I talk about stability, we're talking about, people being able to have good schools available in every neighborhood, good jobs, housing that is affordable, accessible, and available to everybody, and just having a quality of life. I think those are things that everybody wants. There's a common sort of good and agreement around those things. And my grandmother, like I said, she literally opened her door to folks to allow people to eat when they were in need. And, for those parents that are on the line, if you have childcare issues, nothing in your life is right when your childcare is not situated. So knowing the role that my grandmother played in people's lives in terms of allowing them to sort of have balance and peace was really, really instrumental and impactful for me. We talk about education as kind of one of the key pillars to be able to drive stability, because that's how you build strong communities. And education is important because you want people to learn to be good citizens, to critical think, and also to be an informed electorate, because an educated electorate is one that is literate, thinking, and also has the ability to comprehend and process information. But what we also know about education is that there is a direct correlation to your earning potential on the back end. So we want our students to leave PUSD as good humans, but we want them to be able to be good humans that have the ability to take care of themselves, to raise families, to invest in their community, be able to build on our foundation that we are laying for them today in Pasadena, Altadena, Sierra Madre, and to continue to be the leaders of tomorrow that we want them to be. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is probably why some folks are mad. What we know is that workers that are over 25 and who have less than a high school diploma, they have the highest unemployment rate and the lowest median weekly earnings. Now, if you have the opposite of that, you know, the higher your education is, the higher your earnings are and the lower your unemployment rate is. So we want our students to be able to be employable, we want them to be knowledgeable, and we want them to be self-sufficient. And, you know, education is the pathway to that, really. So, and for me, I really believe that schools, public schools, are the core and the center of our community. So much of how we build networks, how we build camaraderie happens at school. So it's the place where you sort of meet your friends. It's sort of where you learn to sort of communicate and interact with others. It's the training ground for what will ultimately become how you interact in the workplace. So if we have schools that are strong, vibrant, diverse, and offering a wide range of experiences and programming, we know that on the back end, we will see the value that reflected in our communities. What we also want from our government is we want our government to actually serve the people that it represents. I'm speaking as somebody who is now part of government, and it is my endeavor every single day to make sure that I am serving all of you well. And if I'm not getting it right, hey sis, let me holler at you. You all have full license to do that because I am accountable to you. So I want to know that I am doing the job that you all elected me to do. And I endeavor every day to do what I believe is best for our community, best for our students, and also responsible to the organization. But first and foremost, I'm always going to fight for our kids because that's who really are. Every single thing we do is for our kids. Now, we know that these days, there's a lot of sort of noise, I would say, on the system and the network about kind of government and what is or isn't happening. What I want you to do is sort of turn that noise out. You need to know what you need to know, but like, don't get fixated on it, don't focus on it. Because what really matters more than anything in terms of how government really works and serves people is what happens at the local level. So knowing what happens at the school board level, what happens at your city council level, what happens at your county level in terms of the board of supervisors, because that's where a lot of your health and human services come from, county parks, county hospitals, your child welfare system lives at the county level. So those things have a significant impact on your day-to-day life. Federal government, it's sexy, it gets a lot of headlines, gets a lot of attention, but for the most part, what you're doing every day, you have very little contact with the federal government. I mean, besides the post office, and maybe if you're earning Social Security or if you're a veteran, you have veterans benefits. But by and large, the day-to-day interaction with the federal government and your daily life is very limited. So local is really where it's at. And as people, local is how you drive power and how you drive change. So I want all of us to be focused on that. And then in terms of like safety, I see safety as a very, very broad definition. Safety is everybody in our community being welcomed, being safe, being belonging, and feel they have a place in our community. So it's not just sort of like, you know, law enforcement, people, that kind of transactional relationship. It's about us as people knowing our neighbors, knowing the children in our kids' schools, knowing who comes and goes, and knowing sort of how we want to be able to protect each other, govern each other, and stand up for each other. And right now with the literal abductions that are happening in our community, being able to come together now and provide safety for our neighbors matters more than anything else I can even think about. So we have a duty to each other to keep ourselves safe, to create an environment where safety is sort of built and protected, and we have the ability to uphold that and to do that. So my 3 pillars, really stability, service, and safety, we want to make sure that there is quality of life, government that works for people, and safety that everybody has a place and a role in. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is why I serve and how I pay it forward. That happens in a multitude of ways. In addition to the work that's happening within PUSD, when people came to me and asked me to run, I was like, I'm really busy. I don't know if I can do that. And more and more, I have to give a shout out to my AAPC family, because you all wore me down. And you all were like, if it's not you, then who? And so you all pressed me to figure it out. You pressed me to think about sort of how do I make time? How do I, take these same 24 hours that everybody has and find a way to fit one more thing in. And so it is absolutely my honor to serve, my honor to represent the students of PUSD. And I hope that you all are satisfied and appreciate what it is that I'm doing to sort of create change within a system that doesn't always and has not always gotten it right for Black students. We're working to improve that. Shout out to the AAPC for creating policy change around suspensions in school for our kids. Because again, as an adult, who's scared of 5-year-olds? I'm not. I'm not going to lose to a 5-year-old. I mean, I think that my professional pride wouldn't allow me to have that be the case. But we know that there are people that are not necessarily always comfortable with our kids, familiar with our kids, familiar with our cultural habits and practices. And so what could be perceived as precocious for one child is considered disrespectful in our kids. And we're not going to do that. So we are certainly working to make sure that we are changing the culture of the employees in PUSD and how they, see our kids, value our kids, respect our kids, and also evaluate their capacity to learn. Because what we also know is that your social economic status, your zip code has no bearing on your cognitive ability. Now, there's some folks that may not be the best teachers, but every one of our kids can learn and will learn. And as long as I'm here, they're going to learn, they're going to thrive. We also know that, like right now, our community is really struggling, be it the ICE raids, fire recovery, budget cuts. And I can't think of the word that the county uses, but the county has a really, really polite way of saying budget cuts. But by and large, we definitely have challenges ahead of us, but they are challenges that we are not unfamiliar with. They are challenges that we're able to meet the moment of, and challenges that we're still going to be able to provide service to our students and make sure that they're able to thrive and get a quality education. And the district right now is certainly stepping up in a big way, doing a lot of collaboration with community partners to make sure that we're able to support families and create a sense of safety however we absolutely can for families. And that's really important. Community is in my veins. I feel like I spend, well, let me say this. Time is like a commodity that you can't get back, but when you give it, I think you get so much in return. And even though people are always like, when do you rest? When do you sleep? I don't know when I sleep. I don't know like what happens. I think that I just taken to the point of some days are A- days. Some days are, B+ days. Some days might be a C- day. And you just got to be okay with that. I mean, so Some days I'm rocking it out and it's a good day. Other days, you know, it's gonna be pretty average or it's not gonna be my best. So, but I believe that community matters, and being able to model serving others matters, and being able to pass that value on to other people is matters to me, which is why I give my time. I probably say yes too often, but still call me. I'll figure it out. The other thing I want to talk about is advocacy, and where you all have created something so beautiful and so special at AAPC. And I want us to continue to figure out, how do we harness that? How do we grow it? And how do we make sure that it works and it thrives long term? We have to be collectively committed to building power. And so thank you to Jessica for talking about power and knowing that you have it and not being afraid to step into it. Don't ever give it up. And I think that as Black folks, we're often seen as laborers in organizing spaces, in leadership spaces, but not necessarily leaders. But we're going to change that narrative so that we are leaders and not just laborers. And every single one of you who was a parent, who was involved in AAPC, involved in PTA, involved in NAACP, or any other organization where you are giving time, supporting others, serving others, you have power and you are a leader. Step into that, embrace that, and do not be afraid of that. Also know that while we are a very much nonpartisan space, we're gonna be political as hell right now. And if you don't know, there's a special election happening in November. This is not traditionally a year where we'd have an election, but there's an election coming up. And because of that, a couple things need to be top of mind for us. If you have been impacted by the fire, you have the ability to still vote at your address in Altadena. All you have to do is update your voter registration file with the LA County Registrar of Voters to make sure that your mailing address is where you are temporarily living, so that they will send your ballot there. But you can still vote for the leaders and the people who represent you that you're used to voting for. So don't give your voting power up. And also, we are in the September. I'm going to drop some links in the chat when I'm done, but I definitely want to make sure that that information gets out, and we're going to do some other information, make sure that we're sharing that with other folks. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Folks can still vote in Altadena. We want that voting power to stay there, because y'all vote at 70%. And most communities don't have that kind of voter turnout. And we want to make sure we prepare to maintain that and continue to ensure that that practice continues. We're getting ready to go into High School Voter Education Week. It's the last 2 weeks in September, and there are a number of resources and opportunities available for high school students. Not only can our 16 and 17-year-olds pre-register to vote, and they'll be able to vote when they turn 18. So if you're 18 before November 5th, you'll be able to vote in this special election coming up. But the other thing that our 16 and 17-year-olds can do is they can be student poll workers. And for the day of service as a poll worker, you get paid. And not only do you get paid, you also are able to earn your community service hours towards graduation. So I'll put some information in the chat about how to be a student poll worker. Thank you to my board bestie, Scott Harden. I appreciate you. But being a poll worker is a really, really valuable experience. I will say that for not just the students who are on the line, if you, as a person who's never been a poll worker, I highly encourage you to do it. It makes a huge difference when people walk into their polling place or into their vote center and they see someone who A, they know, or B, who looks like them. It gives them a lot of comfort, a lot of security, and it's just a really good way to sort of get to know folks in your neighborhood and help them to be able to carry out one of their most important civic duties. It's really an honor. You should do it if you have an opportunity. And then the other thing that I want us to think about in terms of the AAPC is this organization has been so special and has been phenomenal in terms of supporting parents, supporting our children, and really giving a voice to Black families in PUSD. What we want to be able to do is ensure that AAPC continues to thrive for many, many years to come. And how do we continue to make sure that AAPC thrives? We got to grow it from the school level. So if you are a parent who's not currently active in your school site AAPC, holla at your folks. They need you. They need your time. They need your expertise. They need your resources, and they need your support. Because what is valuable for your children is going to be valuable for Miss May's children too. So we need you all to show up, and we need you all to definitely get involved at the school site level, because there's really, really tremendous power at school site. And so we want to make sure that we are growing leaders at school sites. And so when you all hear and know things happening at school that I may not know about, when you all pull up to the board meetings and you say, this is happening at XYZ school, we need eyes on X, Y, and Z, people know that AAPC showed up 30 deep, 40 deep, 50 deep, and that Black children are always going to be our business because you were standing on business for our kids. So the growth that happens at the school site level for being able to cultivate our AAPC leaders is how we'll continue to grow our district level AAPC leaders, because John's not going to be here forever. He's about to age out. You know, Nia's out the game. We just keep holding her back in. But we need to make sure that, you know, the next generation of Johns and Nias and Natashas and Ronices and Tatuls, you know, Tatul's got little kids, so we got some time with him. But for like the next generation of our leadership at the district level, you are going to come from the sites and from the school sites. And so we want to be able to invest in you, support you, and make sure that we're providing you with the tools you need to be able to be a voice for our kids. So when it's time to pull up, we know that the boardroom's going to be full and people are going to pay attention to what it is that you're talking about. Now, whatever I can do to be a part of making sure that when you all are ready to mobilize and when you all are ready to pull up, I'm happy to do that. So I will always be here. I will always be available to you. I will always be supportive of you and supporting with you. So thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'm happy to continue to serve PUSD, and it's an honor to always be with my AAPC family.
Yeah, it's just a quick introduction, if y'all can hear me. Yeah, I think you can. All right, cool. Yeah, John Lynch, chair of the African American Parent Council at the district level. Really excited to be here with you all. Excited to be launching the new school year with you. Just a reminder, we do have a family resource center here in Pasadena. And so we actually have one of the leaders of that center, Jasmine Harris, with us today. And she'll talk us through some of the resources and supports that PUSD offers to parents. I'll pass it to you, Jasmine.
Thank you so much, John, and thank you to everyone for allowing me just a few moments to speak. I was going to go ahead and see if I have the ability to share my screen, just a really brief presentation. If I can. If not, I may need G's help, but I think, are you able to see my screen at the moment?
Yep,
Yes.
I can see it.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, thank you again, John, for having me and everyone here tonight. As you said, I am a part of the Family and Community Engagement Office here at PUSD, and my specific role is the volunteer specialist. But our office, I really like to think informally, and when I tell people what we do, if you have a problem or are not sure where to start and you're not at your school site, or you are hesitant to, speak at your school site, or you just so happen to be here at the district, please make us your first stop, and we'll try to, make sure we get you where you need to go. And if we're able to help you ourselves, we're absolutely going to do that. So with that, I will go ahead and begin the brief presentation. And again, we are known as the Family Community Engagement Office, Family Resource Center, Family Office, whatever you like to call it. We'll make do, and we're here for you. So The office itself does consist of me being the volunteer specialist, my coworker Nancy Molina, who is the assistant coordinator community outreach, and our amazing director, Dr. Shannon Mumolo. So again, informally, we like to think of our office as the first stop for all of our PUSD families in need of help, support, guidance, or anything of the sorts. But we do have them kind of separated formally into three tiers to try to make it very clear and make a distinction of, everyone has a place and everyone can engage. It just may look differently where it is that you're starting or beginning at. So in the first tier, we refer to it as our universal supports and really general foundational opportunities. And this is going to be building relationships at those school sites, like Ms. McKenzie mentioned, having access to your parent portal so you know you're truly engaged with your child's work. We offer family workshops both at school site and the district level with a varying amount of topics really geared toward what's needed at the moment. So these are a few examples that have been going on and will be going on throughout this year. Our Family Fun Math Night, our Summer Programs Fair, the iReady series that we're doing currently so that people are informed and aware of how to use their iReady test scores and diagnostic scores to better support their students. And our after school options will be later this year. And this is just a few. We also have plenty more. And although some people may not be able to make it out to those workshops always, we do try to make sure that we upload information and previously shared content to our face space, which is really just a virtual area that you can kind of start to get what you need, whether it's community assistant information, school schedules, things of the sort. In this tier, it also includes our professional learning for staff who are really in that face-to-face interaction and the first people we see at our school sites. We try to inform them and help them be as well-rounded and understanding as possible. Again, Ms. McKenzie, mentioned the cultural relevance and cultural diversity that's necessary when dealing with our students, specifically our Black students. And this is something that I try to bring forth and remind everyone that I work with that, it may look differently and people may receive things differently, but engagement is there and, we can encourage it for all. Moving on to the second tier of opportunities. This is going to be our targeted supports and just a little bit more of expanded opportunities. Here is going to relate more to that direct interaction with the school sites and beginning to become involved in those committees, as Ms. McKenzie mentioned, your AAPCs, your ELACs, if applicable, your PTAs at the school site, just making sure that you know who is at that school supporting your child and you're making it known that you are also there to support your child. In this area, we also offer toolkits for our district leaders to support parent groups, such as the AAPC, as well as offering opportunities like our PUSD Parents Network, which is kind of a intro space for those who are looking to become more involved. Here in these meetings, we kind of go over some of the basic policies that are really important in PUSD, as well as how it is that you may be able to support, whether that is at your school site or whether it's looking to the district committees, and making yourself available there. Lastly, here in this tier is also where we try to encourage those to volunteer in the beginning stages of volunteer, or the consistent ones. Anyone can visit a campus and be a helper for a day or, support in that sense, but the long-term commitment or, the monthly commitment of, maybe our math power hour is mentioned or our reading programs that we also have on our campuses, just offering yourself to these and making yourself involved in this manner, again, being seen, seeing others, and making it be known that you are available to the community and the school is a great opportunity. That level 1 is going to be the supervised volunteer process. So that would begin at each school site. And if anyone has interest in doing so, you would just go ahead and speak with your school community assistant. Lastly, to round this up, it's going to be our, most involved tier of support that we guide our families to. And it's kind of a great example or the AAPC district meeting that we're in right now is a great example of this. This is going to be the intensive supports and the specialized opportunities for those who are really looking to be as involved as possible and who are, past the school site level and would like to get involved at the districts, just district levels and in those decision-making processes. So in this area, it's going to be, we offer training to support families with the more extensive and challenging situations, referrals to our families and transition office, as well as seeking community partnerships here in our office and reaching out for resources directly for those who are in need. In this area is also going to be the support and parent participation, again, in those decision-making processes like the the superintendent's budget advisory committee. So with, unfortunate budget cuts needing to be made, those in this area or this tier of involvement in family engagement are making or giving their input to make those hard decisions and to make it be known where they feel, the money should be, how things should be spent, and where are the true important areas that we want to focus on for our students. Lastly, in this area is a even greater opportunity to volunteer. This is going to be our level 2 volunteer processing, which I do handle here. This is going to be the volunteer process that is unsupervised with our students. So again, in that math power hours setting, or the one-on-one tutoring, if you have that ability, or if you wanted to start a club on campus for your child and other students of interest in a certain topic, this is where that process would be done. Just to make sure and ensure that safety on our campus as well too. So we absolutely encourage involvement and engagement in all ways, but we also want to maintain the priority of security and safety in these spaces. So hopefully I didn't take up too much of everyone's time, and that was clear. I just wanted to go ahead and offer a very quick intro as to what our office does, how we support, and what that may look like on different levels. Here I am offering, please feel free to take a screenshot. I believe this may be available after the fact, but here is my information directly, phone number, email, and I do run our department's social media. So if you are interested in anything of that sort, I have that information there as well. And I'm just happy to help, to be honest. Any way I can, feel free, contact me, and I will make myself available. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. We appreciate it. And again, you've heard it straight from Jasmine. She will make herself available for whatever you need, right? So let's not be strangers. If we get stuck, if we have questions, let's reach out. Let's make sure we reach out. Jasmine, if you wouldn't mind before the meeting's over, if you wouldn't mind just dropping your information in the chat.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to pass it to,
again.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Natasha for our second round of raffles.
So our longtime friend that's been with us from day one, Daryl, if you are still on the call, you are our next winner. I will put the information in chat. Congratulations, Daryl. Good to see you. Thanks for always being a great supporter for your students as well as your nephews.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Daryl, I saw your name on the chat and I was like, all right, Daryl's in the building. Love it. I'm going to talk about a couple of things real quick. And I want to try to build off of, for a quick second, I'll see if I can share. Can you all see that? You can see the screen? Awesome. So I'm going to just build for a quick second off of this pyramid. So this pyramid actually comes from our close colleagues around the corner, around the way in our city, from Penn, the Pasadena Education Network. I know that Susan Schwartz is on the call, so shout out to Susan and the folks over at Penn. I think this pyramid, which I hope I'm showing a pyramid, is that correct? I can't see it in my screen. I don't know why, but so trust the process. So I think it really kind of talks a little bit about, kind of shows us in a visual, kind of like what I'm sorry, am I fuzzy or no? No, I'm good.
Nope, you're good.
Okay, sorry.
You're
I think my
fuzzy,
internet,
but your screen is clear.
okay, I think my internet is a little wonky, but in which way? So the visual is just a way to show kind of the different levels of parent engagement, right? I think when our kids, you know, for the parents who are on the call, when our kids go into schools, I think we often kind of find ourselves at that bottom, the child-centered engagement, right? I want to make sure my kid is good and make sure that my kid can transition to kindergarten or first grade or seventh grade or ninth grade and is doing really well in school, right? You might find yourself after your kid has acclimated to have a little bit more bandwidth, right? And you might find yourself looking around their class and being like, you know, I feel like I could give more, right? And so you might your level of engagement might kind of up to the classroom level, right? So you may in elementary school be a room parent, or just thinking deeply around how to make your kids' class the best that it could possibly be, like the pyramid, right? You might find yourself, and to Patrice's nudge, ready for school level engagement, right? So as a Black parent on this call, you might think, well, do I have an AAPC at my school site, and how might I lean into that a little bit more, or as Jasmine talked about, a PTA or a school site council, right? Opportunities to kind of do some leadership at the school level. You also might find yourself maybe having gone through those processes and ready for district level leadership, right? So when we talk about that Black children are our business, right? It's really that. It's really how do we create a district that's thriving for Black students that you know very well, Black students that you'll never meet ever in your life, right? And how do we create a district that works for all of our students? So I just wanted to share that as a way to visualize kind of what leadership can look like. And again, Patrice is here, right? We're here as a district AAPC. You've heard from Jasmine. There's a lot of other folks on the call who would love to have coffee, to think about opportunities, to tap the leadership that exists for you, whether it's at the child level, the classroom level, the school level, or the district level. So I'll stop sharing on that piece, but I wanted to then jump in and promote a little bit of what we're doing this year. As an AAPC. I'm trying to get all fancy with my screen sharing. So this is our hot off the presses flyer. So shout out to Nate Bradley, a local, a former AAPC parent, local designer who put our flyer together. Just wanted to kind of lay out the calendar a little bit. So today is the 2nd of September, and we're in our first virtual meeting. We have another virtual meeting on October 7th. We know that, people are cooking dinner. It's been a long day. Opportunities for you to get on and connect virtually is important. But also in November, we have an opportunity to be in person, right? And so I know that in person's a bit more of a stretch. I know it's 2025. I get it, right? But we also know that it's important to break bed, to see each other, to give a pound, to show love, right? Like to be in space together. So I really want you all to do a big circle in your virtual or if you're old school, like a pen and paper calendar, right? And circle November 12th as a thankfulness potluck. The location's TBD, but we don't go very far, so it'll be somewhere in Pasadena, right? And we hope you can make it out, right? And so know that I know not everybody eats everybody's food. But we'll make sure that we have some food, we have some food that we buy too, right? And then we'll ask you to bring stuff. But really, we want you just to be with us and to be with you and to be in community, right? We've had a hard year, right? And we've been through a lot as a community, and so opportunities for us to connect virtually are important. Opportunities for us to connect in person, probably even more so, right? So try to do that circle. We take a bit of a break. And we'll come back in February and we do something which is like one of my favorite times of the entire year. It's called Black Educators Matter, and we do it in February in honor of Black History Month, but in honor of Black educators, right? And so we really give flowers to Black educators who in many ways like haven't gotten the flowers that they deserve, right? And so it's just it's a really important opportunity to show love to the Black teachers who have given so much for our kids in our city, right? And so we've historically done it virtually. Again, this year we're gonna step out in the world and try to be together. So I'm gonna ask you to do a big circle or write it into your, however you hold space in your calendar, right? February 3rd, location TBD. Again, we don't go far. It won't be in New Mexico, right? It'll be in Pasadena. We'll be back virtually in March, and then our final thing of the year will be Black History Living Museum. And if you have not been to Black History Living Museum, I don't know where you've been, what you've been doing, but it's in May. It's an opportunity for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students to really show up, show out, show what they've learned in terms of Black history and what they're able to do. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful exhibition. I think it's one of the best exhibitions of talent in the city. So make sure you circle that in May as well. So I'm talking too much, but I just wanted to kind of lay out the calendar a little bit. A couple other things that kind of fall into that is the launch of Math Power Hour. We do need additional folks. Again, if you're ready, if you know 1st and 2nd grade math, and I think everyone on this call knows 1st and 2nd grade math, and you have an hour a week to dedicate to supporting Black 1st and 2nd graders and non-Black 1st and 2nd graders in PUSD, we're going to drop a link in the to sign up. Again, it's an hour a week, right? It's like you spend more time than that in the shower, in traffic, waiting for coffee. You do a lot of things for an hour a week, right? We can spend time with our kids, right? And other people's kids. And then the other piece is we'll have a college celebration coming in January for our high school youth.